So we were talking about that tweet from Donald Trump. Let's get started with TPP here. So by the way it looks, that tweet, and what Donald Trump is saying, so yes, we're considering it. It has to be better. But also we have existing agreements with already 6 out of the 11 there. So which to me says it's more about a pivot against China and not so much realizing economic value in it. What do you think?
You know, I'd hate to say it, but I'm going to say I totally disagree with you on this.
Okay.
First, as you think about the broader context, the United States and China will always be engaged. It's not a pivot away from a pivot to China. But I think you're right, and when you're looking at his tweet, and we'll see more what comes out of Washington. But I think you're looking at an evolution of President Trump's trade policy, and it is in that broader context of U.S.-China tensions. But I think, you know, we're always trying to overanalyze his tweets until it comes into real policy substance. But I think there's some important things in that specific tweet, putting in context. It's not just trying to get a better deal for the American people, which, after all, he is the president of the United States, not the president of the TPP. To his great credit, he's made that very clear. But my hope is that I'm going to see a TPP process that will be a better TPP. You know, President Trump has made very clear during his candidate Trump during his campaign, and then as president, 3 days into his presidency, he was pulling out of the TPP as negotiated. The reality is that there was not political will in Washington to get that existing negotiated TPP through Congress. Every major candidate, Secretary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, and of course now President Trump, made that very clear. He pulled out, fulfilling one of his campaign promises, but now in this broader context of what can he do for the United States worker, the United States farmer, we're seeing an evolution. Last week, we were always here talking about trade and tariffs. That's part of the context. But very clearly, the United States needs to move forward with both multilateral and bilateral. And I welcome this re-engagement on the TPP. Multilateral cannot be ruled out. It's not just about bilateral deals.
Right. A lot of this essentially comes back to the base. I mean, we have the midterms coming up as well. In terms of political implications here, I mean, does Donald Trump actually need this to keep control, to keep Republican control of Congress, or is him keeping control sort of our default at the moment?
You know, I'm going to leave it to others that comment in terms of the political campaign. I'm going to focus on the economic and what's right for America. And when you say the base, I hope his base is all the American people. Very clearly, there is, I would say, Chinese proposed retaliation against the American proposal with regards to tariffs on Chinese products. And clearly that middle America, the agricultural part of America, is worried about what China might do. And so the president has made clear that we're going to look at a number of ways to assist American farmers should China choose to act as it's saying it might do. But the United States needs to move forward and do what's right for the U.S. And again, as I think about all this talk, I think your colleague called it it was a trade spat. Others are using the words trade war. You know, for me, this is normal engagement. This president of the United States is about the art of the deal. It's a process of moving agreements forward. It's appropriate, in my view, to take a new look at NAFTA, the other big deal between the United States, Mexico, and China years later. The president did move forward, and he succeeded in revisiting a trade agreement with Korea. And so, indeed, let's not throw out the old TPP completely. And that's what my hope is, that the president and the U.S. Congress, which will ultimately need to ratify it, will move forward and get something done to the benefit of all.